hard part is to develop standards that doesn't work for you, but works across the board for not only landscape architects, but for civil engineers and architects. Mm-hmm. And I'm an architect and a landscape architect, so I could appreciate that technical complexity.
Yeah, I want to do it right. And I know I definitely, have approached programming and everything the same way, because I want to do it the right way. We've never changed the basic model of how we develop the software. So, from when it was literally just me making software for my dad. So I wouldn't say, hey, it's a new calendar year, Dad. You have to give me money for a new version, right? You would need a feature and I would program it. And it had to be easy. If you couldn't figure it out, if you couldn't make it work, then what's the point? So I had this great incentive, this imperative, in fact, that it had to be simple, and that I would just make features that you need, and they'd just be rolled out with an update. And we've kept that to this day. And it's hard to find a software company that does that. What software company just makes stuff simple and just pushes out updates every week? But it's a family style development, as if our customers are family. Because to me, it's the same, whether it's someone else or you using the software. Like, of course, you still do.
Finally, things were developed, and finally, I got my first job. The first job at Vandenberg had to be done at CAD, and it was a small job, thank goodness. It would have taken me 2 days if I had done it by hand. It took me 6 weeks of power use, concentrating just on that, just to get it done with CAD. 6 weeks later. But after the end of that 6 weeks, I had incorporated all of their standards into that basic philosophy and had a real strong foundation for what the kind of things land effects should be based on, the CAD standards and the standards of the industry. Mm-hmm. Another big thing is that Jeremiah was in Santa Cruz, I was in San Luis, and the reason that's a big deal is because if you were in the same building developing this, you wouldn't have the same sort of way of technical support. And to me, part of land effects is the ingenious technical support where the user is somewhere else and you're giving them technical support. But if you're in the same building, you might not have developed those skills or honed them to the level that they were developed because we were in two different places.
Yeah, you get basically lazy. It's too easy with things.
Yeah.
And that whole thing of really figuring out how technical support was going to work, how the update, how does the software update itself?
Yeah,
had to be able to work remotely
from day one.
From day one, exactly. That's a fundamental construction of land effects, is linking the objects in AutoCAD to this external database. To this day, and it's something that is unique to land effects, and it's a great design decision that we made, because it allows one project to be used for multiple drawings. You don't have to open the DWG to access the data. It was a fundamental architecture of it that we luckily just stumbled into. Some article in Aviation Week that had some Boeing or some company.
It was a Northrop drafting room. And every desk, line after line after line, had just a computer monitor on it, and there was not a pencil in sight. And that was in the late 1980s. But when I saw that, it just bowled me over completely. And that's when I started experimenting and got a couple of different CAD versions of different things, and that were cheaper. AutoCAD at that time was almost $3,000.
And I just remember particularly the 2002 ASLA Expo was in San Jose. And I go, well, this will be great. We should go see what we can do. And remember, we rented a room off to the side, and we had a bunch of stuff on the walls, printouts of what plans you had done with it. And we just walked around the trade show with these trifold brochures to try to convince people to come back to this room on the other side of the trade.
And on the map of the trade show that they gave us, here's the room, here's the trade show. Well, that's like a football field length.
It was
go down the hall.
Yeah. What?
One guy showed up.
Bob Yamashita with LA Group. And it was this tremendous shot in the arm. for us because having
Well.
at least one person. We were joking about that. At least if we can get just one person, and then it was one person, but we're like, it has potential. This really could work.
Yeah, but the Disney one was an exceptional story up until we pulled up to their office.
I remember that. Yeah,
it was.
And I was like, okay,
it was working on it to the moment we pulled up to their office. We would be testing in the back seat with the laptop.
Mm-hmm.
It would crash.
Yeah.
Then you'd pull over. I would be driving, and you would be fixing the crash. And then we would switch again.
Yep.
All the way there, crashing the program.
Yeah.
And switching driving. And it worked. And we were there.
And it worked.
Land effect is lean, mean, non-lazy, serious, efficient, and it's making a complex thing simple.